I'm Kevin Mack. I'm the head instructor of Krav Maga Nation in Philadelphia. Just going to show you some just like dirty tricks on how to finish certain types of chokes, rear naked chokes specifically. Krav Maga, like a lot of the same chokes you have in judo and submissions in judo, they're all there in Krav Maga. We approach it a little differently than you would see in MMA or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But a lot of people have incorporated what we would call a rear naked choke, which is the most common terminology. You know, the name denotes its origins. You know, in judo, most of the chokes had gis, or required the gi to choke. Rear is the position, naked because it doesn't require a gi, and it's a choke. I'm not going to teach it. Most of you guys know. If you don't know it, it's a carotid choke, it's a blood choke, and putting pressure here, squeezing biceps, chin down. Most of you guys know that. But we don't train for sport, and there are things that are illegal in sport that you can't do on the streets or whatever. But I'm just going to show you how, if you're just trying to you've decided to use a choke. Chokes are very good in the sense that they're really hard to build your body up to defend. You have to use, you know, speed, putting your hands up, getting out, being a little bit squirmy and recognizing the threat before it comes in. There are certain ways to defend chokes that people commonly do. Putting your jaw down, putting your chin down, not allowing me to get my arm through. These are just some ways that you can cheat, so to speak, or be a little bit more aggressive in trying to get that choke. So the choke is here. My hands have come around, and as soon as this comes through, I like to utilize this arm, make this the alive arm, as opposed to two arms coming in for the choke. This one drags right into the choke. So this hand's coming around. This is just like your catch, your anchor. This is coming through. So I'm pushing this arm and dragging it right into my arm and locking it in. So most people tend to think of these as two separate options, like this hand's coming and then this hand's coming, and just you pull the body into your choke. Now, say he caught my intent a little bit and his chin's out, all right? It's filter control. We do that all the time. I mask his face just like we do for bear hug release, and I pull him back and I get my arm in there. It's rather easy. All right. You can do the same thing with your forearm, sliding your forearm like a crossface and just using the blade of your arm here to slide that up and then switching into transition to the other chokes, other side choke. So that's one way. Of course, it's also Krav Maga. I could just go for the eyes. But I'm trying to get this in here, his chin's down. Just mask the face, whatever you have, eyes, nose, filter them, and getting this in, keeping your face out of the way so you don't get eye gouge. So that's one way. Another little dirty trick. Perhaps his chin's down beforehand. I don't want to do that. I just drive my forearm into it and take him straight down. All right? This is like a rolling pin. The bone of my wrist right here, my thumb is rolling down. It is right above his lip, right in his philtrum. And I am rolling it so that it's going diagonal. I'm jamming his anatomy, his cervical spine, straight into his thoracic spine, kind of angling down so there's no place to go. So he's trying to be crafty. He's putting his chin down. My finger is there, my wrist, and then I'm just drawing him down, and I'm keeping it tight. And then there's no space here, so I can do with him whatever I see fit to do. So I'm aggressive choke, I get this in here, I roll down, I take him down in quickly. If I'm quick, I can get the choke beforehand. If I get this and his chin's down, I filter him control, and I get my choke in here. I can use the forearm to drive him back, and then do whatever. Or just what we did here, I do roll down and you come in. And if I wanted to, I can just roll him all the way down onto his stomach. That does not feel good because you're driving the person's jaw, their teeth, right into their tongue. Now, say there's a slight height differential, and he's a little bit taller. You'll see a lot of people that kick out the back of the knee, and they try to lower the person down to get the choke. I'm not the biggest fan of that because I don't like being on one foot and being off balance. A slight weight difference. If he shifts backwards and I'm on one foot, my feet get tangled up. I'm much more into just a slight hip bump. I'm not kneeing him with my knee. I am just coming up under him a little bit. And it's the cross knee because it allows you to go cross knee. So I'm trying to get this choke in. I just hip bump him. All right? So I'm doing this. I'm basically taking his place in the world. I'm just sliding my knee under his thigh, which if I'm a little bit shorter, it puts him into where I want him to be. So it's nothing fancy. It's nothing, you know, standing on one foot. It's not a real combative thing. I'm not kicking out the leg. It's not like a sensory removal thing. All I am doing is coming up under him and driving into him. It's very similar to clinch work, to where I'm not pushing him with my arms. I'm driving under him with my hips. Once again, taking his place in the world, coming under his center of gravity, trying to get this choke, hip bumping him, and then take him in down for the choke. That's one way. Now, another variation is to go for a totally different attack altogether. And this is a variation of an old school Krav Maga technique, and you'll see Imi does this all the time. Go for this side. I'm going for the choke. Perhaps he's resisting me a little bit, he's pulling back, and now I'm switching into here, and into the back break. All right? I'm going a little slow because to do this fast just causes damage to him. I am here. If he pushes back into me, I am switching. I'm going to go for a second. I'm switching here. It is like a judo throw, where you're switching your hips. I want to be facing here with my victim over my back. So I'm going here, and as he pushes back, I'm switching to here. And it's a dynamic movement. It's not a slow walk. It is going here. So I am here, and then I'm coming here. And as I lift him up, I got to make sure to grab his legs. The grabbing of the legs keeps him from flying over. Momentum is going to flip him over, and then I lose control. Once I get him there, it's just a break. It's just like, you know, the Incredible Hulk, his arms, bringing his arms together. So I'm in here. I can even do a combination like a kazushi, like an off-balancing, where I hip bump him, he drives back, and then I switch here, and then I come under. I'm grabbing his pant leg. And now from here, all I have to do is bring my forearm and his pant leg together, and you snap. It's not a friendly thing. It's not a submission. It is something to be done aggressively. Even if I don't break his back. You know, I've never practiced it full force. Maybe I don't break his back. But it's still not going to be a very nice feeling to have your forearm into somebody's throat, have their vertebrae spread and stretched, and having you dynamically pop it. Something's happening. I've damaged more things in my neck, my cervical spine, from less stress. You know, just from training jiu-jitsu and having somebody grab the gi and put pressure on my sternum. You know, I herniated 2-3 discs in my neck. A lot of people training have herniated discs, have vertebrae damage. So if you're doing this dynamic enough and actually snapping them over, something is going to happen, whether or not it's a broken back or just, you know, some sort of dislocation. But it's dynamic. It is happening at the same time. But to train it, to show it to you, it's going to be slow. So I'm in here, and I want to transition to a totally different attack. He's defending everything up here. He thinks the choke is the threat. And it is a threat, and I can make it a threat. But I now want to switch. Maybe I hip bumped him. Now he's pushing back into me. I'm switching into this and then grabbing him and then breaking. Right? It's a way to kind of almost have a backward attack that the guy didn't expect. If I don't want to break anything and I just want to cause damage to him with momentum, I can just come from here and just throw him over my back and just have him, you know, somersault out of it and slam him head first on the ground. You'll see videos of Imi doing that as far back as the 50s. You know, it's a lot of sensory removal, bayonet defense, running up and basically clotheslining him, snapping, breaking the back. So these are just ways to dirty up something in sport. You should need to train athletically to try to get the rear naked choke. You know, if you're grappling, if you're on the ground, if it's sensory removal, if I'm military, law enforcement, special forces, person comes up and I try to get the choke. If his chin's down, everything's got to be done fast. You know, it's not this war of attrition you can see in a grappling match where one person's guarding the choke and you're trying to do all these different things. You know, I'm trying to do this fast and I couldn't do this and now I'm in. A hip bump and take him down. Everything should be a little bit more violent and aggressive when you're trying to do this. All right? Of course, you can always add in the eye gouges, the person's chin's down, palm straight, boom, boom, come in here, shake him back, try to do whatever you have to do. You know, I could come up under here, punch him in the ribs, knee and bump coming in here, eye gouge, rips, whatever you want to do, you can dirty it up. But these are just options to try to open up the initial attack or to transition to another attack. All right, it doesn't quite fit into the curriculum as, you know, you do this, I do that. It's just something to add to your toolbox and throw into your game. My name's Kevin Mack. If you have any more questions, feel free to check us out at PhiladelphiaKravMaga.com. Thank you very much.